Barron Trump stands at an impressive 6 feet 9 inches, making him a striking figure, both in stature and wealth. With a net worth of $60 million, his life has been anything but ordinary. From the moment he was born on March 20th, 2006, Barron's existence has been steeped in privilege. His arrival into the world was like a scene from a modern fairy tale, one that would be hard to match. His first baby gift, a solid gold carriage given by Ellen DeGeneres, was just the beginning of a childhood filled with rare and extraordinary experiences. Unlike most children, Barron's toys didn't come from a regular store. His were custom-made and flown in from across the globe. Standard playthings simply couldn't keep up with the life he was destined to lead. Barron grew up in the Trump family's luxurious $100 million penthouse in Trump Tower, where every detail exuded opulence. The sprawling space, which covered an entire floor, was designed with marble floors, gold accents, and ceilings that were so grand they could have been part of a palace. Barron had his own personal kingdom, a massive 33,000 square foot space that included a nursery, playroom, and even his own living quarters. His life was truly a dream come true, and each day felt like something out of a royal storybook. His bedroom offered breathtaking views of Central Park, making nap time feel like a private escape from the world. Barron's wardrobe was another highlight of his privileged upbringing. His mother, Melania Trump, a former supermodel, took the lead in crafting his style. By the time he was a toddler, Barron was already wearing impeccably tailored suits, $1,000 shoes, and outfits that seemed straight off a high-fashion runway. He was setting style trends long before he could even spell fashion. His early years were filled with designer clothes that would make any adult envious, and fashion critics couldn't help but swoon at his polished looks. Though Barron's world seemed like a fantasy of luxury and wealth, there was much more beneath the surface. His childhood was not just about living in grand spaces and wearing designer clothes. Behind the scenes, Barron was being raised in a family that valued more than just material wealth. The Trump family, despite their incredible wealth, placed a strong emphasis on independence and hard work. Barron's parents, Donald and Melania Trump, made sure that despite the lavish surroundings, their son would grow up with a grounded sense of self. They shielded him from excessive public scrutiny, giving him a childhood that, while extraordinary, also had moments of normalcy. From the beginning, Barron's life was set to be different from most, and as he grew older, it became clear that he would not only inherit his family's wealth, but would also carve out a future of his own. At just 2 months old, Barron Trump made his first appearance on a major public stage, far from any typical baby moment. Instead of a quiet debut at home, he was introduced to the world on the set of The Oprah Winfrey Show, alongside his proud parents, Donald and Melania Trump. The event was a showstopper, typical of the Trump family flair. Donald called Barron a miracle, while Melania shared some amusing anecdotes about Donald's rare attempts at hands-on parenting, including a humorous story about him changing diapers, a task he quickly delegated to others after his brief involvement. The public was given a rare, playful glimpse into the family's dynamics, which set the tone for Barron's unique public image. As Barron grew older, he continued to make headlines, not by choice, but because of his family's position. At age 11, he made history by becoming the first boy to live in the White House since John F. Kennedy. For most Americans, the White House is a symbol of power and prestige, but for Barron, it became just another home. His suite in the residence was equipped with all the gadgets a teenager could dream of, including a gaming setup that many of his peers would envy. While most kids were navigating school dances and sports practices, Barron's life revolved around formal dinners with world leaders, Secret Service agents, and public scrutiny. Despite the constant attention, Barron carried himself with impressive poise. He rarely showed signs of the pressure that most young people might face under such a microscope. His calm demeanor was one of the most striking aspects of his public appearances, offering the world a rare glimpse into the life of a teenager growing up in one of the most famous houses in the world. Barron was already proving that, despite the overwhelming spotlight, he could remain grounded and unaffected by the chaos around him. Barron's education was another key aspect of his upbringing, reflecting the high standards that the Trump family values. He attended some of the most prestigious schools, including Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School in New York City, followed by St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Maryland. His tuition at these elite institutions was comparable to the salaries of many families, but Barron never acted entitled to it. In fact, during his time at St. Andrews, he made headlines when he asked his driver to pick him up a mile away from the school to avoid drawing attention with the motorcade that followed his every move. It was a small, humble act in an otherwise extraordinary life, but it spoke volumes about Barron's desire to live as normal a life as possible, despite his circumstances. By this time, Barron had already seen a world that many people would only dream of, and yet, he continued to exhibit a rare humility and an awareness of the importance of staying grounded. While his life was filled with unimaginable luxury, he understood that the spotlight on him was more than just a product of his family's fame. It was a responsibility he would one day need to navigate in his own way. The young man emerging from behind the public lens was already showing signs of the kind of maturity that would shape his future. By the age of 18, Barron Trump was no longer just a background figure in the Trump family's public life. He was beginning to step into the spotlight in his own right. Growing up with immense wealth and privilege, Barron was carving out a path that seemed poised to rise above the expectations tied to his family name. Despite being the youngest heir to a multi-billion-dollar empire, Barron didn't simply lean on his inheritance. Instead, he started to build his own future, one that was grounded in intelligence, strategy, and personal interest. Barron's interests have always gone beyond the world of luxury that surrounded him. From a young age, he showed a keen interest in technology and business, an interest that would define much of his life. Rumors circulated that during one of Donald Trump's campaign meetings, Barron impressed a room full of adults with his knowledge of cryptocurrency. Even as a teenager, he was advising billionaires on the latest tech trends, proving that his mind was not just focused on sports cars and luxury homes, but on shaping the future of digital finance. This unexpected skill made Barron stand out from his peers, showing that he was already thinking about how he could contribute to a world beyond his family's business empire. But technology and business weren't his only passions. Barron Trump has always had a deep love for soccer, a passion that helped bridge the gap between his privileged upbringing and the global masses. Whether attending matches or mingling with soccer legends, Barron's enthusiasm for the game is something that resonates with people from all walks of life. One humorous moment that caught attention was when Barron quipped to FIFA officials about why there wasn't a Trump stadium on the world tour, showing that the Trump family's signature humor was a part of his persona too. Soccer has remained a way for Barron to connect with others outside his bubble, grounding him in something universal and accessible. As he entered adulthood, Barron's education and personal interests continued to shape his evolving identity. Enrolling at New York University's Stern School of Business, he was prepared to take the next steps in his academic and professional life. Despite being surrounded by luxury and wealth, Barron exhibited a quiet confidence that set him apart from others in his position. His towering height and impeccable fashion sense, often seen in tailored suits and understated casual wear, made him a recognizable figure on campus. Yet, it was his calm, unassuming demeanor and sharp intellect that truly caught people's attention. Unlike the typical media circus that often surrounds people in his position, Barron remained fiercely private. His quiet nature allowed him to stay out of the tabloids, and instead, He became known for his thoughtfulness and ability to focus on what truly mattered to him. Whether it was his business ventures, his love for soccer, or his education, Barron was proving that he was much more than the youngest Trump. His life was no longer just about being the son of a former president. It was about forging his own identity and legacy, one that would eventually stand apart from the famous family name. Barron Trump's journey is one of contrasts. Exceptional wealth tempered by a grounded sense of responsibility. At just 18, he's already living a life most could only dream of. With an inheritance that includes a substantial stake in the Trump organization, valuable investments, and millions in real estate. However, Barron's approach to his fortune is not typical of someone his age. Raised in the lap of luxury, he has learned from a young age that wealth doesn't come without responsibility, and his parents, Donald and Melania Trump, have instilled in him a strong sense of financial discipline. Despite having access to incredible resources, Barron is not the kind of person who takes his wealth for granted. His parents have emphasized that privilege is not a given, but something that must be earned. Donald Trump, in particular, has always pushed the importance of self-reliance and independence, and Barron has adopted these values in his own life. From learning about financial management to understanding the family business, Barron is preparing himself to contribute to the Trump legacy in a meaningful way. His parents have ensured that he understands the value of hard work and perseverance, and Barron is already applying these lessons as he navigates his own path. While Barron's life has been full of public appearances and attention, he continues to maintain a sense of discretion and humility. He has shown that he's not interested in flaunting his wealth or status, instead choosing to focus on his passions and future. His quiet nature contrasts with the world of fame and wealth that surrounds him, allowing him to stand out in a way that feels authentic and unpretentious. Barron has not rushed to make his mark in the public eye, preferring to build his foundation quietly, whether through his education, business interests, or personal hobbies. His commitment to education remains strong, and his academic journey at New York University's Stern School of Business will be a critical part of shaping his future. Barron's interest in cryptocurrency, technology, and business is not just a passing trend. These are areas where he has demonstrated both knowledge and potential. His reputation for being tech-savvy and business-minded is beginning to take shape, and as he learns from his family's successes, he's also looking ahead to how he can make his own contributions to the world. Looking ahead, Barron's future is filled with potential. While he may inherit vast wealth, it's clear that he intends to build upon it with his own ventures, interests, and ideas. His passion for technology, soccer, and business will likely play a significant role in shaping his legacy. Despite being the youngest member of the Trump family, Barron has already begun to establish himself as a force to be reckoned with a focus on independence, responsibility, and authenticity. The world will continue to watch as Barron crafts a future that is uniquely his own, one that will inevitably carry the Trump name, but also make it his own.